For thousands of years, great civilizations have been shaped by rivers. The Tigris and Euphrates made possible the long-lasting cultures of Mesopotamia. The Nile sustained Egypt for millennia. Rivers create stability. They flood predictably. They bind people to place. But now, we leave the rivers behind. We move to the sea. Rivers pull people inward. The sea pushes people outward. Once a community builds a boat, its world expands immediately. The Mediterranean is not a single unifying force like a river. It is fractured, dotted with islands, narrow coastlines, and shifting routes of travel. And it produced a very different kind of world. In antiquity, there were eventually more than 1,500 Greek settlements scattered across the Mediterranean and the shores of the Black Sea. The philosopher Plato once described this world as looking like frogs around a pond. It's a vivid image and an accurate one. This was not a centralized civilization. It was a maritime network of small communities connected by boats, trade, and shared cultural memory. Geography mattered here more than anywhere else. This region sits along major fault lines. Earthquakes and volcanic eruptions were a recurring part of life, shaping how people built, rebuilt, and adapted their cities. Art historians sometimes refer to the cultures of this region collectively as the Aegean world, a convenient term, but one that masks important differences. There were three distinct cultures, each shaped by its environment. The Cycladic culture, based on small islands in the Aegean Sea, the Minoan culture, centered on the large island of Crete, and the Mycenaean culture located on the Greek mainland. These cultures overlapped in time, traded with one another, and influenced each other, but they were not the same. Together they form the world that precedes ancient Greece. Chronologically, we are now entering the Bronze Age, beginning around 2500 BCE. This marks the end of the Neolithic period and the widespread use of bronze, an alloy of copper and tin, for tools, weapons, and prestige objects. The Bronze Age brought technological advances, but it also increased dependence on fragile systems. From around 3000 to 1500 BCE, the Aegean experienced repeated earthquakes and episodes of volcanic activity. Life near the sea offered opportunity, but also risk. This tension between movement and uncertainty is written into Aegean art itself. Unlike Egypt or Mesopotamia, Aegean cultures did not build massive stone temples that dominated the landscape. Religion appears to have functioned differently here. There are fewer permanent cult structures, fewer monumental religious icons, and far less emphasis on eternal permanence. Instead, Aegean art favors portable objects, dynamic forms, and an intense interest in the human body and the natural world. This is art made for people who lived with motion, not timeless stillness. Eventually, much of this world came to an abrupt end. Around 1200 BCE, Aegean civilizations collapsed as part of a broader phenomenon historians call the Bronze Age collapse. Cities were abandoned, trade networks dissolved, writing systems disappeared. For several centuries, much of what we associate with complex civilization faded from view. This period is known as the Greek Dark Age, lasting roughly from 1100 to 900 BCE. But dark does not mean empty. Something remarkable survived. Even as architecture, literacy, and large-scale art declined, memory endured. Stories were preserved, not in writing, but through oral poetry. Few civilizations are remembered first through myth rather than monuments. The Aegean world is one of them. By the time writing returned to Greece in the first millennium BCE, the Aegean civilizations were already ancient history, remembered as a heroic age that had vanished. And that memory mattered because Greek art does not emerge from nothing. It grows out of the fragments of this earlier world, from island sculptors, palace painters, sailors, warriors, and storytellers. Before Greece, there was the Aegean, and to understand Greek art, we must begin here.